So what is going on, Kingdom Hearts fans? It's your boy Amaziah here, and today we're going to be getting into the misconception that the hooded figure that appears and is talking to Ira inside of the Kingdom Hearts 2.8 TGS trailer is the Master of Masters, because it's not the Master of Masters, it's Luxu. Now, a lot of people are getting this confused, but there's a few things here that actually go into proving that this is Luxu rather than the Master of Masters. So the first thing we're going to get into here is the zipper. So Luxu has a special zipper inside of Kingdom Hearts Chi and Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key. We know this because, of course, his zipper seems to be these two diamond-shaped things. Meanwhile, the Master of Masters, who we've seen only a couple of times, a handful of times, and we've only seen Luxu really once, but the Master of Masters, who we've seen a couple of times, actually possesses just a normal zipper. Now, this is how we're supposed to be able to tell a difference inside of Kingdom Hearts Chi and Unchained Key. Or this is what some people are saying. Oh, that's how you can tell a difference in that game. That doesn't mean it's going to carry over here. But once again, these people would be wrong. You see, if they're giving Luxu and the Master of Masters a kind of similar voice, don't you think that they would keep even it? They've given them a kind of similar voice, and they've also given them this kind of similar look to them, because the Master of Masters, if I'm not mistaken, is taller than Luxu as well. But of course, they probably will never stand side by side until about the end of the movie anyway. So even though the Master of Masters is a bit taller, they have given us the way to tell the difference, because they're also going to have just about the same voice, and that's their zippers. Now, you see, a lot of people believe that the Master of Masters has popped up, or the Master of Masters shares this exact same zipper, but that's where these people would be wrong. The Master of Masters, in his appearance in the earlier trailer from this year at E3 2016, never had his face shown. Now, Tetsuya Nomura did state that the Master of Masters made an appearance in that trailer, but he never stated, of course, that he was talking to Ira. He never stated that. So the fact that he did state that the Master of Masters was in the trailer doesn't mean that automatically it makes everyone else right that this is the Master of Masters. All he said was he did make an appearance in that trailer. And since he did in fact make an appearance in that trailer, we know about two characters that have different demeanors to them, and two characters that have different yet at the same time kind of similar voices. Now, one of them is talking with a dandelion in his hand, and he says, "This world is full of light." And by the end, that same exact character with the same exact voice says, "Darkness shall prevail and light expires." Now, that's obviously the Master of Masters, but what's interesting to note there is that never once in those two scenes was it possible for us to see his zipper, meaning that, of course, there's no proof there that that's the Master of Masters, meaning that, of course, the person with the different demeanor, with the kind of different voice, is obviously going to be Luxu, who we finally get to see a zipper from. And we know that his zipper is different, and it definitely does look reminiscent to the zipper in Kingdom Hearts Chi and Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key. Now, I've also have a few screenshots here from, of course, the finale, or the second to last update for Kingdom Hearts Chi, right before it ended. And this is what Luxu says, and I want you guys to take into consideration certain pieces from each of these, and I'm going to give you guys those certain pieces just to make sure that there's no confusion. So he says here that that's why you came looking for me, who disappeared just like the Master to ask about his whereabouts. So obviously we know from this right here, even though this is a dream, we know from this right here the Master of Masters has not popped up yet. He hasn't popped up, he hasn't surfaced again since he disappeared. They disappeared probably, or more than likely, around the time at the scene in the TGS trailer in which he's talking about, unfortunately, you'll have to go alone from here on out. So if he's telling Luxu, unfortunately, he'll have to go alone from here on out, which that Luxu seemed to be a little bit younger, then obviously this would mean that there's a time skip in between these events, meaning that, of course, if the Master of Masters still hasn't popped up yet, he more than likely hasn't popped up by the time Luxu and Ira are having that discussion in the exact same freaking place. But let's go ahead and move along. So, he also says the master's intentions are not concerned with the longevity of the world. So, the important thing to take from there is longevity of the world. Now, longevity of the world means that, of course, making sure that the world has a clear future, a future that's filled with light, and a future that's going to be, of course, prosperous for the beings inside of the Kingdom Hearts universe or the Disney worlds and stuff like that. So obviously, the longevity of the world is what you need to take into consideration here. And then we have another one which he says maybe the master was less interested in the fate of the world and more interested in finding out how we disciples would guide the keys. And then of course we have Ava here who says us over the world, there's no way. Now the Master of Masters, obviously from Luxu's perspective, I've said it before myself, Luxu could be lying. He could be lying. He could be, like Master Ava said, using the Master of Masters, of course, intentions to fuel his very own. So if he's using the Master of Masters intentions to fuel his very own, we wouldn't know until we actually get to see more of the Master of Masters, hopefully in back cover. Hopefully he doesn't appear a few times and then of course be at the end and shit with the Keyblade in his hand like, yes, I finally got Kingdom Hearts, niggas. And so of course we're going to get into those two different trailers right now because I want to do a few voice comparisons. So I'm going to go ahead and play those voice comparisons and then you guys can go ahead and have at it. Now, we don't have the voice for the Master of Masters, who I believe is the Master of Masters right now. We don't have too much of his voice, but we do have, of course, the hooded figure that's talking to Ira. We do have a lot of his voice here, and we can pretty much compare and contrast these two different voices. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
This world is full of light.
You telling me that you think the world can be saved by just 7 people?
Darkness will prevail, and the light expire.
Not possible. Guess you better get started then. Unfortunately, you'll have to go alone from here on. What about the others? Not possible.
So now that you guys have heard those voice clips and stuff like that in the trailer, you guys should be able to tell that there are in fact differences in their voice. One of them sounds a little have like a more deeper tone to them, and one of them have that more chillax type of course voice to them. But the reason why you should have took those three things from those three different, of course, I mean those four different screenshots from Kingdom Hearts Chi. The reason why you needed to take those things into consideration is because you have to think about what Ira and this hooded figure is actually talking about. Ira is obviously mentioning that he has a plan or he has an idea of what could possibly be done to make sure that the world does have a longevity, make sure that the world does have a prosperous future. And what he's talking about is something we don't really know just yet. But we do know that, of course, this person he's talking to pretty much says the same thing that he told Master Ava, in which he stated that, of course, even if there was, this is the special scene, guys. Look at this scene. Read it for yourselves. He states, even if there is an answer besides, of course, the way that things are destined to happen, that answer would have to come after the war. There is no finding an answer before the war transpires. So obviously, he's telling, of course, Ira, let's say for a second, because we can only speculate the Master's intentions right now. Let's say for a second the Master of Masters is trying to save the world, right? And even if he is trying to save the world, of course, he would take into consideration Ira's suggestion. But this person tells Ira, nah, it's not possible. And then, of course, in this TGS trailer, he says that, of course, he kind of gives him this smirky ass tone where he's kind of like, you're trying to tell me that the world can be saved by just 7 people? And he's like, of course, well, we have to do something, nigga. And that's just even further proof, guys. Luxu has goals and Luxu has a mission from the Master of Masters. And of course, he seems to be the one out of all of the apprentices that believes 100% that the Master of Masters transcript or the Master of Masters book of prophecies and the page that he gave to him is in fact going to happen. It's going to happen regardless. He's the one that believes in that stuff. And since he believes it 100% and he doesn't believe that these prophecies can be changed, he's still living out his mission. He's doing his mission the way that, of course, the page says he's supposed to. And that's pretty much to sit, wait, and watch as his fellow apprentices fall to the darkness in the Keyblade War, and then he will set out to go into the future. So obviously, guys, this person is Luxu. This is not the Master of Masters. The Master of Masters is in this trailer. He's in the E3 2016 trailer. Tetsuya Nomura confirmed that he did make an appearance. He never said where he was, he never said who he was talking to, or he never said that, of course, he was the one discussing anything with Ira. So that doesn't go into the argument that, hey, this is the Master of Masters, Tetsuya Nomura said so. You cannot pull that card in this discussion. You can't pull that card, guys, because all he said was the Master of Masters did make an appearance in that trailer. And of course, there's two different hooded figures. These details or these differences will not be changed from Kingdom Hearts Chi into Kingdom Hearts back cover. That's how we're supposed to be able to tell the difference between the two characters, guys, because they're going to have a similar voice, and if they do have a similar voice, and let's say they change the Master of Master zipper to the same kind of zipper, then of course that would just be hella confusing, besides the fact that Luxu uses the Keyblade that Master Xehanort possesses, and hopefully, I'm still hoping, even if he could be an evil bastard, I'm still hoping the Master of Masters has the X-Blade, because I cannot wait to see that weapon be used by a motherfucker who really knows what they're doing. Like, if he trained the Foretellers, I'm pretty damn sure that man, I cannot wait to see that shit. But thank you guys for tuning into the video. If you got anything from it, go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace the heck out.